It doesn't matter.
But Harry, hold on.
That means it's systemic.
Guys. Harry stood on national TV and just said that black people are prone to criminality. I want to be able to respond to that, okay?
Well, they are.
But you think black people are prone to criminality?
The statistics here show this.
You don't mean to say that. I'm going to give you a chance to correct that. You don't mean that black people are prone to criminality.
What does this say?
I don't know what that says, but I know...
The chief can back me up because he's coming out.
He's not going to stay on national TV and say black people are prone to criminality.
I am telling you, 75% of shootings are blacks.
I'm hoping you just don't know.
75% of shootings. What you're doing is you're interpreting something else I'm saying into your narrative. That's what you do.
I'm just trying to talk.
Mark, hold on one second.
I think you just don't know prone.
Point I'd like to make. First of all, I'm not going to say we're prone to blacks prone to crime because I don't believe it, and it's not true. That's the first.
It's not true. It's racist.
The second thing, I have a slight difference.
It is not racist.
To say that black people are prone to criminality.
That's not what I said. I said 75% of the shootings that occur in New York City are done by blacks. All right? And you keep on talking about this disproportionate amount of whites and blacks in jail.
Because it is disproportionate.
And this is why. No, it's not. It is, yeah, by the definition, it is.
How about we don't?
You want to know why blacks commit more crimes in America? They commit more crimes than whites. I'm going to explain to you the system and break the whole fucking thing down. Where we're going to start is the birth of America, which was slavery, pillaging. You know the deal. We're going to jump to the 1950s. Politicians are still racist and slave owners, and that is a problem. Let's jump after the marches and all the protests. 2016. We have a lot more freedom. We have a lot of those laws abolished. The people in power were slave owners a lifetime ago. We have to realize that power passed down might have been a little racist. When America shot Martin Luther King, everything changed and nobody was racist, you know? That will never happen. We will always have racism. The question is there systemic racism in our government-appointed authority? Considering 37% of unarmed people killed by police were black in 2015, and they are 12% of the population. That is systemic racism in action.
I think we have to reject the 99% of cops are good argument. Not because they're bad, not because it's not true, but because it ignores the fact that there's a systemic problem.
As America, we have our minority race, the black people, being locked up at a way higher rate than any other race. They make up a small portion of the population. As America, we should be ashamed of that and try to change that because it is proof of systemic racism. But instead we ignore it because people like Morgan Freeman and the politicians want you to not talk about racism. If we don't talk about racism, we won't get past the first part of the equation.
Because I got statistics right here which will prove me right. In New York City alone, okay, blacks are 23%. They make up 75% of the population. 75% of all shootings, 70% of all robberies, and 60% of all violent crimes. All right? The whites, only 3%. Now, that is why there were more blacks in jail than there are whites. But that's okay. And now let me just finish here, and then you go. All right. So we look at that statistic. All right. They turn it around. You know, the racial demagogues out there turn it around that the blacks are being picked on. It's not. So the facts in these statistics, all right, have to be addressed, and you've got to understand them.
But both can be true. Right? Both can be true. You wind up dealing with a community more because of socioeconomics and criminality, but the question still remains, Mark, of how you deal with that community.
Right.
Why do the black people commit more crimes in America? The answer would be the black community or the minority community in America is not committing more crimes. The government-appointed authority is sticking to one area, and that area is a minority area. The police target these individuals. Young black males are 21 times more likely to be killed by police than young white males in America. Black people don't commit more crimes. If you target one area in one specific spot, that minority people will be in jail more.
Right. Can I respond to Harry?
Please.
Okay, so
please, and I'm coming to you, Jeff.
There's a couple of things there. First, Harry talked about the idea of people immediately second-guessing the police. The police should be second-guessed. They're public servants, and we're the public. We should be second-guessing them, just like we should second-guess our politicians.
He's saying don't automatically infer an assumption of racism. That's what he's saying.
Well, that's not what he said, but and we have to make that distinction, right? We have to make the distinction.
Right.
Should be subject to scrutiny, but so long as police have not been, and because police have not been, sometimes at this point, police are frustrated when you don't take their word as gospel right away. And with camera phone technology, increased witness technology, we see that they're not always telling the truth. Now, to Harry's second point, which is that in Ferguson, we immediately jumped up and said this is racism without any evidence of racism. We did an investigation of the Ferguson Police Department. I talk about this in my new book, and there is considerable evidence of racism in Ferguson. So it isn't true that there was no evidence of racism. There were racist emails, racist phone calls, racist practices.
He's saying in this specific horrific incident.
No,
come on.
no,
A couple.
let me finish.
There were 3 emails, I believe, that were racist, correct?
But Harry, there's only
3
40
emails.
Harry, there's only like 100.
It doesn't matter.
But Harry, hold on.
That means it's
Hold on, guys.
Harry stood on national TV and just said that black people are prone to criminality. I want to be able to respond to that. Okay.
Well, they are.
But you think black people are prone to criminality?
The statistics here show this.
You don't mean to say that. I'm going to give you a chance to correct that. You don't mean that black people are prone to criminality.
What does this say?
I don't know what that says, but I know.
The chief can back me up because he's coming out.
He's not going to stay on national TV and say black people are prone to criminality.
I am telling you, 75% of all shootings are blacks.
I'm hoping you just don't know.
75% of shootings. What you're doing is you're interpreting something else I'm saying into your narrative. That's what you do.
I'm just trying to talk.
Mark, hold on one second.
I think you just don't know prone.
Point I'd like to make. First of all, I'm not going to say we're prone to blacks prone to crime because I don't believe it, and it's not true. That's the first.
It's not true. It's racist.
The second thing, I have a slight difference.
It is not racist.
To say that black people are prone to criminality.
That's not what I said. I said 75% of the shootings that occur in New York City are done by blacks. All right? And you keep on talking about this disproportionate amount of whites and blacks in jail.
Because it is disproportionate.
And this is why. No, it's not.
No.
It is, yeah, by the definition.
How about we don't yell?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to say.
Okay.
This is a conversation that is not always easy to have. You're going to have clashes of perspective. But we all know this, all right? If you do not have this conversation the right way, you do not move forward.